I'm trying to get this Yap video out to like stall some time so I can go walk my dog. Okay. Um, I was thinking about what I wanted to inspect today. I wanted to do Kashimo, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hold off on that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I have to recharge my Kashimo slander meter. Let's analyze, let's inspect actually this sorcerer. All these other tabs are for the video I'm making, by the way. It's gonna drop tomorrow, but let's inspect this sorcerer right here because I think she's actually one of the most overrated sorcerers. Funnily enough, because like I no, I think she's overrated in terms of like what people think she can do to anyone, right? But I do think she's super strong though. I think she's really strong. Um, it's kind of crazy. I'm probably gonna go into it in this video that I'm making, but I do think she's strong. But I've seen people say that she's stronger than Kenjaku. Obviously, those are like those are how do I explain that, bro? Those are damn. What's the word I'm looking for here? Cause I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say it in a comedic way. Well, I guess I missed the joke, bro. The window for the joke is over. Basically, it's the people who like post on TikTok to bait you into debating. It's those types of people. It's just like what I'm saying. They say dumb shit, and then like if you actually get into a debate with them, bro, they'll say some dumb shit. So no one's gonna take the Yuki is stronger than Kenjaku thing seriously. The main thing that people overrate her for is, let me see if I can get the chapter. Boom. Is this feat right here. I explained it in my Maki versus Yuki video, and man, it's gonna sound redundant, but like it's another like widespread lie in the community that I don't even think it's an agenda, right? Because there's Yuta lies and Kashima lies. That's for agenda. I don't think this is for agenda. I think this is literally just what you're shown, and then you don't think anything beyond that. You know what I mean, bro? Yuki pulled up on Kenjaku and literally punched through his guard. That's never happened before. He just punched through it. His guard is up, and she punched straight through it. So you see that, and you're like, what? She's gonna do that to anyone. Hold on. Yeah, she's gonna do that to anyone. But like, no, not really, bro. No, no, not really. And basically, what I'm going to explain in this video is how she's not doing that to anyone, and how like this is like consistent, right? Because I made, again, in the video that I made, Maki versus Yuki, I explained it for I think like 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. Oh gosh. Anyways, yeah, I explained it for a very long time. How it's just not the case that she can do this to anyone, right? Because not because actually I explained it, and then in the comments it was just straight cope, just straight cope. So let's go over what actually happened, and I'm gonna go over multiple examples for you. Okay. So look at the context. Kenjaku's like Yuki Tsukumo. She's a special grade sorcerer, but headquarters keeps a tight lid on the intel about her curse technique, so he doesn't know anything about it, right? Or so I thought. I couldn't even get any information from the higher ups. He knows nothing about Yuki's curse technique. And so he's like, you know what? Keep your distance, bro. Right? Keep your distance. I'm not dealing with you, okay? Keep your distance. I don't know what you got, but F off. Yuki one-shots the freaking curse spirit, and Kenjaku's like, what? Bro, look. This is one of the funniest things ever. He's like, what? And then she pulls up and then punches through his guard. So the context here is Kenjaku doesn't know anything about her curse technique. He's like, alright, stay over there, okay? She one-shots it, and he's like, what? And then she punches him through his guard with the curse technique that he doesn't know about. Alright? And then he's like, oh, okay. So she ups her mass a whole bunch. Okay. All right then. So what happens after that? What happens after that? Actually, okay. I was gonna put this up, but no. Actually, let's go in order as. Actually, so he's like, okay, it's mass. He uses domain expansion. Yuki gets terribly injured, and this is where it's like, okay, yes, this fight right here is not indicative of her actual power, right? Because she's injured, her output is lowered, right? Objectively, her output is lower. So, this, everything that's happening here, it's not the same as this. And then we get to 207, okay? And this is where it's like I don't even know where this agenda, like, nah. I know where this agenda came from. Again, it's just like surface level, just looking at it, being like, oh my gosh, she punched through his guard, so she can do that to anyone. But when you actually read what happens in 208, 207, you're like, wait, no. Like, Kenjaku just didn't know how strong her punches were, right? So we have this scene here, right, where Kenjaku's facing Yuki. He's turning around. He's actively trying to turn around to Choso because he's about to shoot a freaking piercing blood at his the back of his head, right? He turns to Choso, right? And then Choso shoots the piercing blood. Remember again, he turned to Choso. He left Yuki alone. Turned to Choso. Choso shoots the piercing blood point blank. He's like, haha, no problem, right? Because actually, I think this is a bad translation. I don't know. But what did he say? He was like cutting it close or something like that in the TCB. I don't know. He says something about the fact that like, oh, he did something. He countered it by, spinning his head. And then Yuki comes out of nowhere and off guards him. Remember that Yuki was behind him. And she comes out of nowhere and off guards him, right? And so he was like, oh. That, bro, oh wow, what a translation, bro. I actually gotta keep note of these. Hold on, let me get my phone. Wow, what the hell? Yo, these translations are bad. I'm making a video on that. That's why I have to make note of these, bro. There's some like, what? Oh, oh my gosh. Yo, that's crazy. My fault, chat. Let me just yeah, this is a very bad translation. What the chapter 207. Anyways, yeah. The actual context of this, context of this statement is Yuki over here, she's like, "Oh, if he's doing something like that, then he must be like weakened or something like that, right?" And then Kenjaku's like, okay, if she wasn't damaged, then that would have been crazy, right? Let's go to TCB actually. So right here, she's like, but if he resorted to that kind of trick, doesn't that mean we've got him cornered? And then over here, Kenjaku is the one who got hit. So I don't know why John Wary decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna have Yuki start speaking while we're seeing Kenjaku. This is literally Kenjaku getting hit. Obviously, this is Kenjaku's thoughts. Anyways. Yeah, Kenjaku's like, luckily her injury lessened the output of her attacks. Otherwise, that would have been dangerous. Of course, it would have been because he was caught off guard by it, right? And so, this is the funniest part about it. Huh? That doesn't. Okay, I guess that doesn't do anything. We're gonna go over here then. She needs to power up Star Rage. Gotta recover power. Gotta recover the curse technique output. And so she does that. She literally does that. We have to power up Star Rage, and she powers up Star Rage. She's back to her regular output here. She has finally been able to heal. And so they finally start fighting again. And guess what happens? He's no longer off guard. He's no longer off guard, and he's face tanking her punches. He's no longer off guard, and he's face tanking her punches. And not only that, she's literally saying that, oh yeah, we've weakened his body, we've weakened his curse energy, like, all of this. So not only is Kenjaku weakened, but she's also back to her full output. Right? Not only is Kenjaku weakened, but she's back to her full output, and he's face tanking the punches. But the first time he went against it, he got caught off guard by it, and got hit through his guard. Now, I say this, and now I have to give other examples as to how this makes sense, as to, like, you know what I'm saying, as to how this is consistent in the story, right? I don't know what I said in the video, but I'm just going to think of multiple off the top of my head. The first one I can think of is the hollow purple that Gojo used against Sukuna, right? The entire point of this scene, the entire point of Ijichi being here, is that Ijichi put a veil. Okay, due to Ijichi, I said veil, barrier, I guess. Due to Ichiji's barrier, Sukuna misread Gojo's first move. Even though he sensed Gojo, he didn't notice his opponent's output, immense output, until the last moment. And so, as a result, he lost 2 arms. Let's see if that's a bad translation. Let me see. I don't know if it is. The entire while I'm getting to it, the entire point of Ichichi being there is that he's going to mask the amount of curse energy that Gojo's putting into the attack until the last moment, where Sukuna can't really change his reinforcement. You get what I mean? So look. Let's see what it says. Thanks to Ichichi's barrier, Sukuna misread Gojo's opening move. Although he was aware of Gojo's presence, he was not able to sense the immense amount of curse energy that was output until the last attack. Until the attack was right in front of him. Right? Yeah. Like I was saying, the point of Ichichi being there is to mask how much output is in the attack. Bro, this is a 200% hollow purple. 200%. Sukuna doesn't know that. Right? And so when he does that, of course it's going to do even more damage to him, because he's like, that's the entire point. He's not going to know how strong the attack is, and so he didn't have enough reinforcement there to compensate for something like that. All right? Let's see another example off the top of my head. I feel like there's something to do with, like, let me see if this is a good example. I always forget what chapter this is, bro. Yeah, I'm so bad at that, bro. It's 140, 140 actually. Let's see. This is a good example. I mean, I guess you can bring this up. I'm thinking more like Hunter x Hunter. If you guys have watched Hunter x Hunter, there's this, like, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was called. It was this aspect of Nen, and it kind of reminds me of this, right? Where you would be able to see how much Nen someone's putting into an attack, and so you would have to use the same amount of Nen to defend against it, right? So, like, there was this scene where Gojo and Killua, I said Gojo, what the hell? There was a scene where Gon and Killua were training together in Greed Island, and what's her name? Bisky, I'm pretty sure. Bisky. She was teaching them about that aspect, and they would put 80% Nen. Like, let's say, for example, Killua would put 80% Nen into his fist to punch at Gon, and then Gon would put 80% Nen on his, like, arm to block that attack, right? It would be able to, like, cancel it out. I guess, like, it's not really explained like that here, right? Um, but I guess like it does make sense. Oh, that's why. Okay, okay, okay. This is why I brought this up because Toto's right here, and Toto does something like that. Toto does something to prove what I'm talking about. Actually, what chapter was that, bro? Okay, this. Wait, no. This 129. 129. It's got to be this one. Yes, it's this one. Okay. So Toto, I don't know if he actually knew this was going to be a Black Flash, but he knew that Mahito was about to hit him with something, right? And so he put all of his curse energy into his stomach to minimize the damage, right? So again, it's proof that like, okay, if you actually like adjust to, not really adjust, right? Because again, he didn't know what was about to hit him, but he put maximum curse energy there because Mahito's Mahito's what's that word? His intention was to finish the fight right there, right? And so if you put enough curse energy, you're able to minimize the damage, clearly, right? What's another example that I can think of? Uh what is another example, bro? What did I go into? Oh, I remember one. Oh, damn, let me just go back. Hanami. Yeah, that's the other reason why I was thinking about Toto, bro. Toto, bro. It's literally just, you know what I'm saying, bro? So this is where Gojo comes in, right? Yeah, it is. So let's go back. Should be right here. So basically, right? Hanami gets hit with a Black Flash. Whoa. Hanami gets hit with a Black Flash, right? Oh, yeah, actually, was it the last double spread of the chapter? It was. Well, we'll get to it in a second, okay? Hanami gets hit with a Black Flash right here, right? And even beyond, even with like branches right there and her own durability, the Black Flash obliterates everything there and does a whole bunch of damage to Hanami as well, as we can see in the next chapter. Right? And then they're like, oh, their curse energy is undoubtedly weakened. If you go for the head, it's game over. Right? And you see like, oh, it's healing his body and stuff. And then, after this statement, bro, Yuji hits Hanami with like multiple Black Flashes. I think 4 in a row. Yeah, 4 in a row. And it does not do nearly the same damage as the first one. Not nearly. What the hell? Not nearly the same amount of damage as the first one. And why is that? Because now she's like, okay, so you have an attack that's... You see, look. Oh my gosh. This is just proving my point. Here it comes again. Hanami already knows it's going to be a Black Flash. See? Yeah, exactly. So Hanami knows it's going to be a Black Flash, so she's like, okay, I'm going to compensate for that. And is it freaking obliterating Hanami's body? No, it is still damaging her, but it's not obliterating her like the first time. Same way that Yuki obliterated through Kenjaku's guard. And at the second time... Oh, wait, did I... What the... I deleted it? Yeah. Okay, right here. Yeah, what was I saying? Let me say that again. So the first time Hanami got obliterated through her guard as well as like the other branches around. This is crazy. Isn't her whole arm gone? Like, am I bugging right now? The entire arm is gone. Right? First time got obliterated, and then the second time she's adjusted to it. She's like, oh yeah, here it comes again. And she's able to tank it way better. Just like how Yuki obliterated through Kenjaku's guard the first time. She's like, oh, okay, so this is how strong her punches are. She gets her output back, and then he starts face tanking her punches. The only thing on the other side is like the cope that Yuki's curse energy output isn't the same as it was before. But what is the point of her? What, like, we gotta get back her output. That's the entire point of her using RCT, bro. That was literally the entire point of using RCT. It was to get back her output. And not only that, do you guys want to know something that's super funny? Yuki's able to use a black hole after that. She's able to use a black hole after that. So it means that she has access to her full output. I don't know, like, okay, oh, actually, okay, now I'm understanding it. The first half of it where it's like, okay, she can do this to anyone isn't an agenda. Again, this is like a surface level, like, just quickly read it, you see it, and you're like, oh, that's super crazy. It's just like the Kashimo thing, right? It's just like the Kashimo thing that I mentioned yesterday, that the waffle dismantle that went after Kashimo, you see it for the first time, and you're like, what the hell? When has Sukuna ever used this? Like, this is one-shotting everyone, right? It's just it's this exact same way. And I don't think it's an agenda. Again, it's just like, you just see it and you're like, what the heck? But then you continue reading and you're like, wait, no. That wasn't insane. That wasn't insane at all. And it's the same thing for this. Now, when it comes to, like, the second level is like when Kashimo fans say that it was a world cutting / net, that's where the agenda comes in. And also when Yuki fans say that, I mean, there are Yuki fans, right? Again, like the freaking debaters that I talked about earlier. There are Yuki fans that be like, oh yeah, she's not at full output. That's an agenda. It really is, right? Because if she has the ability to use a black hole, then she has access to her full output. The black hole is beyond her full output. She's back at full strength, so she should be able. She's back at full health. I mean, so she should be able to withstand the output of her punches, right? Because that was the entire point of her dying. Where is it? That was the entire point of her dying. The black hole was too much for her body, so she dies as a result of it. It doesn't affect me, but only up to a certain density, right? And so she keeps on going. And so now her body cannot withstand it. It's just done. It's over for her, right? So if she has access to the freaking black hole, then what about her regular full output punches like this? She has access to that as well. So again, I think Yuki's super strong. I think she's really strong, honestly, because regardless of the fact that she's not about to punch through everybody's guard, she doesn't need to. She doesn't need to punch through everybody's guard. I think this goes back to the Hikari thing that I mentioned like weeks ago. How people can't like imagine like just punching someone to death. Right? Hikari doesn't have anything else in his arsenal. It's just punching and kicking, right? And so when they see that, they're like, okay, yeah, he's not finishing any fight. Why? The reason why that is because we don't see it happen. Even though it is a possibility. He can just continue beating the fuck out of you, bro. Like, literally, that's it. And so that's what Yuki can do as well. Yuki can just keep beating the... That's literally what she was about to do, by the way. She was like, I'm just going to keep punching the fuck out of him. She literally said that. She was like, I'm gonna win. Attack. That was literally what she was going to do. Right? I think Yuki's super strong, bro. She could do this to anyone, bro. She could keep on punching the frick out of you, bro. That's the entire point. But people can't fathom that, so they have to come up with this BS where like, oh yeah, she's gonna punch through your guard, bro. That's what she's going to do against you, against anyone in the verse. Yeah, she's not doing that to Maki. She's not doing that to Maki or Toji. Yeah. Anyways, how long has this been? Cause yeah, I'm gonna go walk my dog. 25 minutes. Okay, that's decent. Man, I'm gonna finish off this video by saying I have no idea. Yeah, let me go walk my dog, bro.